Fished all day. Had the last flight, 4:30 check-in. Never caught a keeper, saw a keeper, touched a keeper, lost one, nothing. So real quick, my grandpa told me years ago, that's why they call it fishing, not catching. I finally understood what he was telling me, talking about all those years yesterday. It was just brutal.
We were sitting back on the side there just talking for a little bit. You've not ever zeroed an FLW tournament before, is that correct?
That is correct. I did as a co-angler years ago, but it's been
8 years maybe?
Ages ago, a century ago.
Oh, my goodness. Well, with that being said, you've still had a great year. You fought Andy Morgan tooth and nail for Angler of the Year this year. You fell just a little bit short on that, but still, awesome year overall for you, Cody.
It really was. And looking back on the year, I never lost a fish all year, never made a wrong decision. So in the end, I really couldn't have won Angler of the Year. I say that, and I feel good about that because I fished great. And every time I made a decision, it was the right one, it seemed like. I would catch him every stop. And like I say, at the end, Andy he said it best. He goes, Cody, you really screwed up. You had a 27th place finish. We're laughing about it. But just an amazing year. And it started off really great and the first day and just didn't happen. But I'm happy to be here. You're always happy to be fishing the Forrest Wood Cup, no matter how hot it is, how tough the fishing is. It's really good to be back here fishing and have a chance at that $500,000.
And you said it kind of right there. No matter how tough it is, it's not just tough on Cody Meyer. It's tough on the entire field. And so when we take people, we might have been at a Big Bass Lake this time around, or we may have been, here at Lake Murray in the middle of the summer when it slows down just a little bit.
Yep.
But it really doesn't matter because everybody's fishing the same body of water, right?
We're all on the same playing field. It's going to be tough for everybody. It's tough for Anthony Gagliardi, who lives on the lake. And I said it years ago, I remember going to the Pittsburgh River, and you catch a 12-incher, and you're doing the dance because you're so excited. And I actually really like those tough grind tournaments where, just getting a bite matters. And obviously yesterday it really mattered for me and couldn't do it. But, I think as an angler, you'd rather have a tough tournament than just a slugfest where anybody can win.
You got it. Let's go over some updates here. We haven't heard a lot more out of our first place guy, Philip Jerbeck. Had a big time day two.
Man.
The kind of day two that you would have loved to have had, I'm sure.
Oh.
Jumped up in there, got it done on day two, went back to that spot this morning, and now he's got a little case of the Cody Meyer. He just cannot find a keeper fish on that same spot. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, I know the feeling too well. Philip and I are fishing a lot of the same water, a lot of the same type of stuff, and the problem with these blueback herring lakes, these bluebacks, they're here one day, gone the next. And unfortunately, if you do not follow them, or you don't know where to go to follow them, it's hard to catch them. So I know Philip's paying right now. There's still a lot of time left in the day, but it's definitely tough on him. It looks like so far. It's going to be tough.
How were the tournament days for you? Did you need to get your key bites early, or was it kind of a throughout the day? When you're only fishing for a handful of bites anyway.
Yeah.
Did most of those come early for you or kind of later in the day?
The first day they came early, and I think going into this event, every angler on the field said, hey, we got to catch some fish early to have a good day. And I think today's no different. It's just there's a small window when they're really biting, and then after about 9 o'clock, it's just you're grinding and fighting, biting for just one bite here at a time. And so I think today's no different. Tomorrow's going to be the same, but, the guy that can catch a couple big ones early is going to have that momentum shift, and he's going to be able to kind of get on a roll and finish out the day strong.
It seemed like there was a pretty good flurry this morning. For a lot of the guys, that cloud cover had to have had a lot to do with that, right, Cody?
Definitely. The first day of practice, we went out there and it was raining, overcast all day, and they bit really well. And today, that's the first time since the first day of practice that we saw overcast. And I saw a guy like Scott Canterbury catch a couple really nice ones early, and that's what it's going to take. And again, that morning bite, especially with overcast and clouds, that's when a guy is going to have a chance to jump up the leaderboard in a hurry.
You better believe it. Sitting in second place right now, somebody you may have heard of before, Brent Ayler, another West Coast connection out there. That guy's on top of him this morning is what it sounds like.
Man, he really is. Brent's amazing. He could catch him everywhere we go, and you said it best. He wins one every single year, and he hasn't won one yet, so he's definitely due. If I had to bet money on it, I would put it on Brent Ayler. Brent catches them. This is his cup of tea right now. It's tough. He could catch them when it's really, the conditions aren't perfect, and he's doing it again. And he's going to probably have the same bag he had yesterday, and I'm sure he'll have the same bag tomorrow.
That's bad news for everybody else in the field right now.
It sure is, but that's just what the guy does, and he's very consistent, and let alone if he gets a big bite, it's going to be really, really bad for the field. But I mean, he's just going to keep on ticking, and it looks like he's culling already. I mean, that is really hard to do on Lake Murray, and if he's already doing it this time of the day, it's just he's got something going good.
I looked at my notes over here. Brent Ayler, day 1, he had 13.5 pounds almost. Day 2, he had 12.7. We know he's got the limit. We know he's done the culling. Watch out, right? Yeah, watch out.
And the thing with Brent, too, he's fishing in the south end of the lake. He's fishing down by the dam. And when you catch one of those fish, they're fatter than the fish in the river. Those are the herring fish we're talking about. Those are the fish that are going to typically weigh, a quarter to a half pound more per fish. So
because of their diet.
Yeah. You go up in the river, and those fish are eating the little thread fins, eating bluegill and crawdads, and they're really thin. These fish down there on the main lake are really fat, so if he does catch a limit right there, I guarantee he's going to have anywhere from 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds more than a guy in the river. So that's going to go a long ways this tournament.
All right, here in third place we've got Brian Thrift. The report I've got on him, he's getting it done too this morning.
Yeah, another one of those guys can go out there and catch him. He understands these lakes. He lives just up the road, and he's a threat to win too. I mean, he catches them all the time.
Fourth place, Michael Woolley. We'll get into this a little bit. Michael Woolley, big time day 2 for him. This morning he hooks that first fish. It's feeling good. Rod's boat over. Gets it to the boat, sees it. 4-pound class fish, big time. Boop, unbutton, just like that.
That's a bummer for Michael. Those are fish you cannot make up. The bite's so tough out there. You get that fish, they come off. You can't make it up. It's in your head. It's hard to recuperate after that.
You got it. Our 5th place boater right now, Jacob Wheeler. Other than yourself, who's had a good young career, going with FLW Outdoors, this guy has just come in and kicked the doors down as far as FLW goes.
He really has, man. He's back in the top 5 again. This last 2 years, he's got a first and a second, and now another top 5 right now, and he's getting it done, and good for him. He's fishing hard.
He's got, right now, I think he's got 2 fish in the boat, 5 pounds, roughly around there. That update came from about an hour ago, actually. So, he may have done a little bit more damage in the last little bit.
He only needs a couple more bites, and he's going to be fishing tomorrow for sure. And I definitely feel like he'll be able to pull it off.
Your day 1 leader, David Dudley. Big time day 1, 3 fish on day 2. He felt your pain a little bit on day 2. He was able to get 6 pounds yesterday, which did keep him in the top 10 there. He's 6th place. All's been silent, but I've heard some rumors from some other people that he's got some fish today.
Hopefully he's not having a Cody Meyer day too, because that's definitely bad, but David's good enough. He's going to go out there and he's going to catch him. He's going to come in with a good bag.
Are we going to have to register or trademark having a Cody Meyer kind of day?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's fair. I got a new nickname from Chris Jones yesterday, the Goose. Yesterday, day 2 for me, it was definitely fitting.
There you go, man. We love everybody, all of our fishermen at FLW Outdoors, but with that being said, we've got some people that don't mind to just go ahead and twist the knife a little bit, right?
You know what? It's going to make me a better fisherman in the long run. I'm going to work harder next time, but when you have a day like that, you got to hear it because it doesn't happen often, and I hope it never happens again.
Yeah, you better believe it. 7th place, real local, Anthony Gagliardi. Did what he had to do on the first 2 days to get himself in that top 10. We don't have a lot of updates on him, but, you got to think that Anthony's been holding some spots back for sure.
I said it day 1. I pulled up on a brush pile that was really hidden, caught a good one, and I said, a guy like Anthony that has all these sweet spots out there, he knows where he can go get a keeper when he needs a keeper, and that's going to go a long ways in this tournament. I would not be surprised today if he comes in with a good 5-fish limit. I know he's going to catch some fish out there, and he's going to move up for sure.
You know it. Here we go. 8th place, your best friend, Andy Morgan, Angler of the Year right now. You fought him, like I said, all year long. You guys just, I had no idea. Going into that last qualifier, at Kentucky Lake, who knew what was going to happen? You guys were like 12 or 17 points apart from each other is it.
Yeah.
It's one of the closest Angler of the Year races of all time. You blew it away. If Andy Morgan wouldn't have fished with us, you actually earned more points than any other Angler of the Year had ever achieved before that. And so he's got one head in the boat right now from what I've heard.
Yeah, that's like just the Murray's fishing so tough right now. This is a phenomenal fishery, but it's dog days of summer. It's just tough. And if a guy like Andy Morgan goes out there and has one fish right now, I mean, it just shows it's tough. It's a mental thing out there. And I still, though, we call him the GOAT, the greatest of all time, greatest angler to ever fish FLW. He's going to catch something. He's going to bring in something and stay up there.
You better believe it. 9th place. I think you even got to see this guy this morning a little bit. Straight Talk Pro Scott Canterbury is having a great day. He does have a good limit. Got a good kicker in there, I believe, even. Mm-hmm. And I think you took out some people this morning just to fish, and you might have even seen him.
Yeah, I launched right there at the ramp, and it started fishing around Crystal Lake, and here comes Canterbury. I saw him put one in the boat that, to me, looked like a 5-pounder or bigger. He's got a limit. You're going to have to watch out for Scott. One thing about Scott, he's been catching them better every day. He caught 4 the first day, I believe. I think he caught 5 or 6, 7 keepers yesterday. He's on fire right now. Being at the leaderboard is great, days 1 and 2 of the Forrest Wood Cup, but it's the guy that's going to creep up the leaderboard that has a chance at winning. Scott's definitely going to make a jump today. Whether he has enough or not to overtake the leader today is going to be tough, but he's going to have a chance tomorrow.
It's a story of consistency is what you're saying.
Absolutely. And, the guys that figure it out throughout the tournament are the guys that are going to win this tournament. Just like Brent today, he's culled a limit of bass already. I mean, he's definitely figuring something out. He's going. He's in his rhythm, and Scott's doing the same thing. So look out for those guys.
You know it. 12th place right now, Casey Ashley. Also pretty local guy here. 12th place. He's 2 spots out of that cut range. He's got 4 in the boat on my last report. Those 4 are 10-plus pounds right now, so watch out for him too.
Watch out for him. I mean, he's another one of those guys. He knows where some spot is. He can go get number 5. He's going to catch him. I mean, it's just, he's an awesome fisherman. And then you give him the local advantage, the local knowledge of the lake. It's a deadly combination.
Let me ask you, okay, you're from California. You may not have all the local knowledge of these lakes, but I hear it from different people, and I hear different things. Some people say you can know too much about a body of water. Is that a true fact for you?
I definitely I have to agree with that. And the reason why you fish on past history, you might have been fishing a spot 5 years ago and caught a big one. And you're going to hit that spot again because you think, hey, it's gonna work, and you're fishing past, where guys like me or Brent or Canterbury or someone, on the tour, you have to fish the moment. And so you go out there and you're going to fish a spot where, hey, it's working in practice, or you just roll up on it and you're fishing a pattern and it works. And guys sometimes can get caught in the past and fish history, and it doesn't work sometimes. But obviously with Casey, today he's catching them.
It's working out. Yeah. There you go. We skipped Scott Martin. He's in 11th place right now, but he is also trying to make that jump in. He's got one bass that we know is probably over 3, in that 3-4 pound range. He's got 3 in the boat right now. That was about an hour ago. He's looking for those 2 other keepers, But if you're sitting in 11th, 12th place right now, a solid limit's got a really good chance of pushing you up into that top 10.
It really does. The weights, when you look at them, they're so close and so bunched up that anybody that catches them, even 17th, 18th place, if you catch a good bag, you're in. So, I mean, when you're just outside the top 10, it's not going to take a whole lot, especially a guy like Casey, 10 pounds already for 4. I mean, that looks pretty promising. So, I know Scott's working hard out there and trying to get it done.
Uh-oh. I did have another note on Casey Ashley. He's got that limit. It might have just been about a 2-pounder, but go ahead and kick him up to about 10, 12-pound range right now.
Yeah. At that rate, he's definitely in. 12 pounds is a really big bag right now. I mean, considering he had 10 pounds or 9 pounds the first day and 10 or 11, whatever he had yesterday, I mean, that is a really good bag. So that's another one of those guys that's getting better every day, climbing up the ladder. Those are the type of fishermen right now I feel like you have to really watch out for.
Let's just talk about your tournament again real quick before we leave here. Cody, you come from California, land of deeper water. This place, it's hard to pattern this time of year. You heard it if you've watched the weigh-ins. People are fishing shallow, people are fishing deep, people are all over the place. Where were you at this week?
I started off shallow both days, and I thought it was going to be a real key for me to catch a couple in the morning. And the first day I caught one, and then I jumped to my next spot, which is deeper, and caught a bigger one. So I was kind of mixing it up. And, we had a full moon here last week, and so that's typically a really good bluegill spawn. And so I did some of that, had some deep water stuff, and, I think you're going to need a combination of that to do really well. Again, these bluebacks, typically they're 5 to 10 feet down from the surface. I mean, they're constantly moving. They don't really relate to the bottom, so it's just really hard to catch them. I mean, if you fish deep the whole tournament, you really have to have some good stuff lined up to stay consistent.
Well, you got it, man. I appreciate you so much, Cody Meyer. Rappel Pro Cody Meyer here for the 1 o'clock edition of the Tour or Cup Insider. I'll be your host, Daniel Fennel. We'll see you back at 2 o'clock.